Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is mbalcerek. If you don't know, I make YouTube videos about everything and anything about my life, and this video is all about Father's Day. Alright guys, yeah, so today is Father's Day. I want to wish all the fathers out there, grandparents and all that kind of stuff, grandpas actually, a happy Father's Day. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope your family's cooking for you right now or taking you out however they're doing it, but I hope that you feel appreciated today. And yeah, today's all about Father's Day, and I'm going to talk to you about it and about the parts where I grew up and now it's just a little bit crazy, but we're just going to go ahead and talk. Nia's right here. Say hi.
Hi.
She's playing Fortnite. She kind of got into Fortnite now. She's using my account. I'll leave that down below as well. Zoe's in their room doing her thing. I have a little bit of notes right here that I kind of am going to go off of just so I don't ramble all the time, because this is probably like the third time shooting this and I just kind of rambled. But it's still going to be a long video. Anyways, growing up, Father's Day was a very awkward day in itself because I didn't grow up with my biological father, okay? Like my brother Seth, you guys seen him in all the videos and stuff, and he has his own YouTube channel. I'll leave that down below. But we grew up not knowing, seeing, or being able to interact with our biological father. And that in itself is another story, but because we didn't see him growing up and interacting with him, when Father's Day would come, for me at least, I can't speak for him, but for me, it was always weird because there was nothing really to celebrate. Because even though I had uncle and like my other people that spoke into my life and stuff, and we'll get to that as well, but like there was never a specific person that I called father, a human person at least. Obviously I can call God my father, but like a physical person that was never there growing up as that figure. So it was always weird because everybody would go out or do something with their fathers. My brother and I would just chill at home with our mom. Nothing wrong with that, but because there's a lot. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing because like I look back and we just kind of literally sat on the couch and watched TV, or we'd go hang out somewhere but I don't know where we'd hang out, just at our apartment complex and stuff. But anyways, yeah, it was always weird for me. I can't speak on his, but it was always weird for me because they'd always like celebrate Happy Father's Day, happy this, happy that, and we never really celebrated it. I mean, we gave gifts to my uncle and some of the people that were in our lives, but like that physical person. So I don't know, it was just weird to me. And to this day, it's still kind of weird because like it's only been like 8 years. You're 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
So she's 8 years, like 8 years that I've been a dad. And yeah, I don't know. I love being a dad, obviously, but celebrating it growing up, never really celebrated it, and celebrating it now it's interesting. That's all I gotta say. Because we never celebrated, so I don't really know how it looks or how it feels or what to do and all that kind of stuff. They don't know. They're little kids, so they don't really know how to do it either. But yeah. But being a father is probably it is the hardest thing that I ever did in my life. Like, it's hard. I can't say it any other way. Like, it's hard. But I don't regret any of it. I don't regret any of it. I don't regret being a father. I don't regret being a dad. I mean, when I say it's hard, it is hard, and I'm not saying that to say it to scare people or to neglect the fact that it's something I'm complaining about. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just letting it. It's hard to be a father, but I do find it to be joyful. Everything's worth everything that I've done up until this day, and in the future, it's going to be worth it because I love them, and I'll get into the role models that I've learned from growing up. But being a father is hard, and I'm not saying that to say to make people feel sorry for me or anybody else out there, but it's hard. But I don't regret it. I don't dread it. I don't complain about it. It's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Like, I have 2 beautiful daughters, and I love them with all my heart, and I can't wait till they grow up and they understand like what Father's Day really implies, and I hope that they see that in me as well. She's playing her game. I love you.
Love you.
All right, I want to talk about 4 men in my life that God specifically put in my life because He knew that these 4 people would pour into me or show me things that I needed to do as a father and as a dad. Now I'm gonna go through these 4 people. All 4 of them show their own individualities. Obviously, not one of them is less than the other. They all poured into my life. But these are 4 men that I actually say Happy Father's Day to, and I appreciate them because who I am today is because of them. I look to them growing up, and I would say I want to be like them, or I took something from them that I want to apply to being a father with Nia and Zoe and my future kids as well. And the very first person I want to say Happy Father's Day to and let you guys know who poured into my life is my Uncle Tillman. My Uncle Tillman's probably one of the hardest workers I've ever met and been around in my whole life. Like, he is continually working. I've never seen him like just take a day and relax and not do anything. He's always doing something. Whether he's a welder, obviously, and when he's not welding, he's at his house with my aunt fixing something on the house, or with the cars and vehicles and stuff like that. He's always doing something. He's always working. Very faithful to my aunt. I know welders have this stigma of being cheaters and stuff like that, and it's crazy that when people would say stuff about welders and like them being unfaithful and doing this and doing all, like, it never made sense to me because my uncle was a welder and he was probably the most faithful person I've ever met, and to this day he's still welding. And he's the opposite of the stigma that people put on welders. So when people make fun of welders, I don't get it because my uncle's the opposite of it. Like, he never complains. He's always helping my aunt out. When my aunt needs something, he doesn't question, he doesn't complain, he doesn't do any of that stuff. He just does it for her. And growing up, I lived with him, obviously, so he took me in, and he was always helping my cousin Theron, myself, and he always made sure that we were always going places. I remember one time he helped my brother Seth read. Like, he was literally teaching my brother Seth how to read, and obviously Theron as well. But he taught, and he would sit. I mean, he had his methods, but he never shied away from anything. Like, he never did. And another story about him, like, I've never seen him drunk. I've never seen him lose his temper at my aunt or around me. And so, like, seeing that in him is just something that I admired about him, and I took that and I hope that I show my daughters, but also just apply into my life as well. Just continue working on myself, but also working in general as well. The next person is Paul Lanuza. Now, this guy is Filipino. He's a pastor that I look to and I grew up with in Phoenix, and he has shown me so much in my life. Like, he's the first person to show me that it's okay to be funny. Like, you can joke about things, you can laugh and all that kind of stuff. He showed me what unconditional love looks like to a woman and to his kids. Like, he loves his, and when I say these things, it applies to all the other guys as well, but with Pastor Paul, and that's what I call him, he loves his wife Leah. Like, he loves her, like, with like, you can't question that. He's always talking about her, always doing silly things to make her laugh and smile. And I just saw that in him, and I'm just like, man, I want to be able to, like, he never joked around or did anything like that with anybody else. No one else around him. Like, his wife saw the sense of humor a different way than other people, and she got that part from him, and he didn't give that to anybody else. And that was something that I valued, and I was like, man, I want to be able to do that as well, and just be able to give a part of me to someone that no one ever sees, and that part I got from him. The next one is another pastor. His name is Joel Cornelius. He's my current pastor right now. But he has shown me that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be a man and still cry and do all that kind of stuff that people deem not manly. And I deemed not manly as well in the past, but he was able to show me that it's okay to open up to people, show people different parts of you, and be able to open up and be someone that people want to know, and just stuff like that. He also helped me and parts of my life and transitions in my life that I needed help with. He spoke to me, he poured into me, he listened to me. He was there for me. And I see how he loves his wife and how he loves his kids. And that's something that I want as well. And how he loves his kids. Like, he loves his kids. And it's a different kind of love than all the other ones. And all of them love their kids, obviously, and I can see that. But the way he loves his kids is like he lets his kids think and be who they want to be. But he also understands like part of him knows like he can't change them, but he accepts them and he loves them, and he continues to just speak to them and pour into them everything. And it tells them the truth. Like, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He'll tell you and tell them as well. And he loves his wife as well tremendously, and I see that in him, and it just makes me strive to be someone like him as well. He's very prayer oriented. He's always praying, and that's something I find that I want to add to my life, and I added to my life as well. Next person, I don't think anybody knows him at all other than myself and maybe a handful of people, but his name's Troy. Now Troy, I worked with Troy, I was probably maybe 21, 22 when I met him, or actually 22, 23, somewhere around there. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, Troy was someone that showed me. I worked with him. He was my boss. He was like someone above me because I used to work for the college that I worked with. Anyways, he worked above me, and he was kind of like my boss or whatever. But I remember Troy, and he spoke into my life and just showed me things, and I saw things in him that made me happy and made me want to add stuff to my life. But one thing that he showed me is that it's okay to disagree with someone. You don't always have to agree with someone. You can disagree with someone and still be friendly to them. Still have a conversation with someone. Nowadays, you disagree with someone or you don't agree with someone, like they think that you hate them, or they think that you're trying to attack them, and that's not it. Like, he showed me how to have a conversation with someone and continue to have that conversation. You don't have to agree. You don't have to try to force someone to believe something you want them to believe, but simply be there with someone and not take things to heart. Like, he was someone that not a lot of people saw eye to eye with him, but he never let that get to them because he knew who he was and what his beliefs were, and he didn't treat anybody differently. He treated everybody the same, even though they didn't see eye to eye with him, and he was always cordial and friendly with everybody. And he really showed me how to be able to just to stand up for myself, but also not disagree and hate someone, I guess you could say, or like make someone a bad person in my mind or into my heart just because they didn't disagree with me. He really showed me like it's okay to not agree with someone and just talk to them. And that was something that I brought into my life, and as a man and as a father, and it was just amazing. Also, he was a hard worker. A lot of these things that I said about the other guys applies to they all kind of apply to one another. They're all hard workers. They never lose their temper that I've seen, and they all just like love their wife. They all love their kids, and it's just something that I took from them individually. They all have a special part of my heart as well. And one story with Troy is, to this day, no one knows it. I think I've only told the story maybe once or twice. Because when he did it, he didn't do it to be seen or anything like that, but he is a very giving person and not wanting anything back. I remember one time Nia was born, and I had to take like a week off, or like a week and a half off of work, and I couldn't, and because I took that week and a off, and I want to say a week and a half, I don't remember, it was a long time. Anyways, I got my check and I couldn't afford to buy things or pay for rent at the time, and I couldn't buy anything like diapers and stuff like that, and it was hard. It was disheartening, and it was just like one of the lowest times in my life. But Troy, every 2 weeks after, like, I didn't want to, and he knew that I was struggling because of whatever, and I told him like, hey, I couldn't go out to eat or anything like that as well. But he kind of sensed it and stuff, but I never told him it, but he sensed it. Anyway, like every 2 weeks, he would give me an envelope. I never asked for it. He just gave me an envelope, and inside But yeah, every 2 weeks he would give me an envelope. Never asked for it. He would always hand it to me, and literally there would be at least $400 to $600 in that envelope every 2 weeks. Never asked for it, and at one point I said it's okay, but he kept giving it to me because he knew like the struggle that I was going through as a father and being a new father as well, and he just continued to give to me and be able to pour into me that way as well, like financially. Like I don't ask for money. And I never did from him, but he did. He did that for like, I want to say almost a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and it really did get me back on a track to making sure that I was on track with my bills and stuff like that. And what that showed me was like someone that really cared about someone and be able to say, okay, I see you, and I need you to get to a certain place, and I'm gonna help you get there. And all 4 of these guys saw that in me. They said, Mike. They didn't verbally say this, but I could tell, and then like. They saw me and they helped me get to where I'm at today and who I am today and the man I am today and the father I am today is because not only because of those, well, there's a lot of people out there, but those are the 4 people that really poured into me and that I took something and applied it to my life and being a father as well. I'm not a perfect person. I don't claim to be, but I do claim to have really good role models that I look to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope everyone's safe. Happy Father's Day once again to everybody out there, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.